Am I the asshole for telling my mom's family I don't owe her because she had gender disappointment? My mom never wanted a boy. She wanted girls. Apparently her dream was 4 daughters. But she had me, 16 male, first. I have seen photos and videos of the day I was born. She cried hysterically when they told her I was a boy. Then she refused to hold me. After we were cleaned up, she cried about not using the name she had chosen and said she didn't know how to move on from it. All this was caught on camera. Eventually my paternal grandma took me and she was the person to hold me in photos and videos taken during the rest of our hospital stay. My paternal grandma was my sole parent figure for the first 8 years of my life. She took care of me and I spent so much time at her house. Sometimes I was there for weeks. Then she had a brain bleed and died. So I was left with a mom who wanted girls and not a boy and a dad who wanted to be a provider and nothing more. My mom had my sister, Lily, 2 years after me. So mom got her girl and Lily got all her attention. While I got grandma until I was 8 and then nobody. My mom and Lily are super close and mom adores Lily. Lily got the bigger bedroom, she gets the gifts, she gets all her favorite snacks, she gets to do all the extracurricular activities she could ever want, and her birthdays are huge parties with huge gifts. Christmas she gets at minimum 25 gifts from mom alone. Mom typically gets me one. Never anything I'd like or want, but thought that counts, which is 0. My mom's family don't act too interested in making up for my lack of parental love. And in the last couple of years mom and I have argued more and I give her a hard time. Dad's never around to give him one. But mom? If she wants to ignore me then she can hear how shitty it is, and if she wants to treat my sister like a perfect angel then she can hear about it. Mom has mentioned how I ruined her dream of 4 daughters. We were at mom's parents' house Friday and mom gushed about Lily doing good on a project and the scooter she got Lily to help her get around easier. She got Lily a custom helmet and a personalized lock for her scooter. She couldn't stop talking about it and I told her she really does love to shower her favorite in gifts and praise. My mom's family told me I should take it easier on her and said I should understand we had some little troubles because of mom's gender disappointment. I told them I don't owe her shit because she had gender disappointment and that I didn't ask to be born to a mom who only wanted daughters. They told me I lacked adult understanding and compassion. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your mom is toxic and extremely shallow. So many out there are desperate for a healthy baby, regardless of gender. She's blessed with just that and rejects it. I'm so sorry your mom is like that and for the loss of your grandmother. The good news is, you're almost an adult. My advice is to focus on yourself and work hard so you can get out of there. Then you can choose when you see her and in what capacity. Side note. I really hate the concept of gender disappointment and feel it's becoming more obvious with these huge trendy gender reveals. Nobody needs to see their parents bratting because they're not what they expected. People need to grow TF up and realize what's important in life. Not the asshole. Your mother needs to grow up. You are in no way responsible for mitigating her disappointment that the fantasy she created in her head, long before you even existed, didn't materialize. Her inability to cope with reality should have never been your problem. It is grotesque to expect a child, which you are at 16, to be understanding of a mother's immaturity. Continue to call your mom's behavior. Speak up for yourself. And go and see with her and anyone else defending her bullshit as soon as it is legally and financially possible. Not the asshole. That's not gender disappointment. That's some disgusting and cruel neglect on your mother's part. I had to use quotation marks because no real mother worth her salt would ever do such a thing. I always wanted to have boys growing up because I was a huge tomboy as a child and now I'm the mother of 2 girls. I only felt slight disappointment when I found out my oldest was a girl. From the moment she was born, I had this entire new vision of what life would be like sharing it with a daughter and fell in love with being a girl mom. That's the way it should be. I loved the experience with my oldest so much that I was just as happy to get a second daughter. If I'm ever blessed to have a son, I know I'll love him just as much. That's what parenting should be. Not the asshole. Can I give you some advice, op? From one unwanted gender disappointment to another. You need to gather your birth certificate and social security card and store them somewhere safe. Doing this now will make leaving so much easier in the future. Also, Google Equifax, Experian, TransUnion Credit Freeze to freeze your credit so your hateful mother can't use your identity to take out a loan in the future. Not the asshole, but your mom really is. If I was in your shoes, I would cut mother and anyone who supports her out of my life completely. And when you have kids, guess who doesn't get to meet her beloved granddaughter? Your mom. That's an EVIL family. They're saying you don't understand. Wow, I just can't get over it. They've excused the mother's appalling behavior. Complained to school, honestly. Am I the asshole for accusing mom of being selfish when she forces my twin sister's dad to include me? You read that right? My twin sister, 16 female, and I, 16 male, don't have the same dad. Mom slept with two guys close together and had us. DNA proved this too. It's always been a weird thing and we get a lot of questions IRL. My sister's dad was willing to do the DNA test, took it and it showed he was her dad but not mine. Mine had to be dragged to court and he has found ways around paying for me and he and his family never wanted to know me. So my sister grew up with a dad and I didn't. Mom didn't like it and when we were young, 3 to 5 maybe, I apparently used to get so sad when she'd leave and go to her dad's house and I couldn't go with her. I don't remember it but I get why it'd be true. So mom told him he had to include me and he was like nope, no way. It ended up in court with mom wanting to take away his parenting time. The judge ended up saying he didn't have to take me for his custody time but he had to include me in any big days out with my sister or for family holidays if she went along. He tried to get my mom to drop it but she refused. So ever since I about 5 or 6 he has been forced to include me in his life sometimes and the lives of his family members. None of them want me there. I know they see me as this huge burden. I hated it. If I wasn't being ignored they were just really short with me and made it so obvious they didn't want me there. My sister was torn between me and her dad. I told her I didn't want to deny her a dad. So she never let it come between them or us. When I turned 13 I tried to put my foot down with mom but she told me I had to go and she said she'd take his ass to court so fast if he let me wander off and didn't make sure I was okay like he would with my sister. There's only 2 years left but I can see how much my sister's paternal side despise having me around. It sucks being forced somewhere that nobody wants you. And my mom is still serious about taking him back to court. So I told mom a couple of nights ago that it needs to stop and she can't keep doing this. She told me I don't deserve to be left out because of her actions. I told her she can't make them love me and they have shown their disdain for me for over 10 years now. I told her to let it go. She got so mad, she wanted to yell and cuss at them. I told her to stop being selfish and stop forcing them to include me because she's the only one who wants that, not me. I told her I never wanted this. Mom broke down and then she told me it wasn't necessary to be cruel to her. Am I the asshole? The only asshole here is your mother. This is not your father, it's your sister's father. She has that family. If they got to know you through her, they might have loved you for that, despite your mother. The way your mother went about it ensured hard feelings. I'm sorry your father wasn't involved, and that you don't seem to have family on that side. This mess is of your mother's making. Anyway, not the asshole and neither is your sister or her father. Not the asshole. What a very sad, sad situation. And I must say you show a remarkable wisdom far beyond your years. You are of course right to tell your mom to just drop it. Forcing any relationship is never right. Your mom is stuck in her me role and that is all she selfishly cares about and is incapable of seeing the pain and hurt you have endured all these years. The only bright spot I can see is if your mother does want to take it to court, then this could be your chance to end her charade by speaking to the judge directly yourself on her wants and needs. I hope for the best to you. At 16 the judge would listen to you and maybe this horribly wrong situation can end for you. Not the asshole. I can't help but feel it's strange that after all that time your sister's paternal family still treated you that way. You are just an innocent kid who didn't ask for any of this. My adopted kid's grandma had companionship time via court order with her bio grandkids, her daughter, their bio mom was deceased. It took exactly 1 visit before she asked to bring my bio with them for a visit. She treated him better than his paternal bio grandma and exactly the same as her own grandchildren. Not the asshole. Why the hell did the judge think this was a good idea? I mean, really, how the fuck can it be legal to force someone to include a child they're not related to and have no prior relationship with, forcing them to spend money? Not the asshole. What a strange situation. You're old enough now to know what you want and she should realize that. Man, at least try making it believable. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she actually has to do things to get celebrated? I have a 16-year-old daughter, Caddy, and a 14-year-old Jake. Jake is more of an achiever. He's involved in sports, does great in school, and recently won an award for community volunteering. We have been celebrating his achievements, usually with a dinner out. Caddy, on the other hand, doesn't do much. She hasn't been putting effort into anything lately. She basically just goes to school and then exists in the house. She spends her free time on her phone or watching TV, doesn't have any hobbies or interests outside of her friend group, and doesn't put much effort into schoolwork. This results in her not getting many celebration outside of her birthday. We stopped forcing her to do sport or other clubs when she hit high school. Caddy came to me and said she feels like it's unfair we celebrate Jake, and I decided to have a conversation with her. I sat her down and explained that we love her just as much, but if she wants to be celebrated like Jake, she needs to put effort into something. I suggested she try finding something she's passionate about or work harder in school. That she should make her own goals to work towards. I thought I was being honest but gentle. Caddy did not take it well. She exploded, accusing me of playing favorites and said it was unfair that Jake gets all the attention just because he's always doing things. She even lashed out at Jake, telling him that he was the golden child, and she was tired of hearing about how great he was. Jake was hurt by her outburst, and now things are awkward between them. Caddy has been avoiding both me and her brother since then, staying in her room or giving us the silent treatment. My husband thinks I could have phrased it better, but I believe this was an important reality check for her. If she isn't doing anything, then there isn't anything to celebrate. Edit. For everyone claiming I never talk or am around my daughter. She literally just went apple picking with her father this weekend. I am spending almost every day teaching her how to drive. We went shopping and a spa day earlier this month. Her father is teaching her how to change tires and how to work basics of the car. That's been happening every weekend for months. Me and her have been watching a show every thrust day with her for months. That's just this month. Not the asshole. Makes perfect sense to me. I am assuming y'all would celebrate her b-day, graduation, etc. Does she think people are just going to throw parties for her for no reason? She's old enough to learn that's not how the world works. Maybe get her into therapy. Sounds like she's in some sort of woe is me spiral. Maybe some outside perspective would help her get on track or at least understand why people who work hard and achieve things get celebrated for them, while people who do not, do not. Do you spend quality time with her? Because if she's feeling emotionally neglected, that issue is bigger than celebrating achievements. If you go to his games, events and then do things to celebrate him, it can feel unfair, even if she's not doing things. Dropping activities and schoolwork and not doing anything outside of screen time. That sounds like she could potentially be depressed or going through some stuff that you may not be aware of. It sounds like you're trying to be fair by having equal rules, but by your rules, one of your kids is telling you they aren't having their needs met. Listen to you, kid. Find a way to meet her needs. This is why it's better to celebrate effort rather than achievements. Some kids have an easier time achieving than others, and constantly celebrating other kids' achievements is hugely demotivating for a kid who's trying their heart out but not getting the same results. It can also lead to the more gifted kids not learning to really work for things that don't come easily to them, and when they start to face challenges as adults, can tend to burn out or crash and burn. It's little wonder that your daughter is feeling the way she is. You say she just needs to put effort in, but you still only plan to celebrate achievements. Not the asshole, but, oof. Not all kids are the same. You're essentially telling her that you are measuring her against Jake's yardstick. Each person is different in how they are motivated, their interests and abilities, etc., etc. I get your intention and don't fault it, but perhaps you shouldn't have made a direct comparison, if you want to be celebrated like Jake. How about you take your daughter out and spend time with her, like a girl's day every once in a while, for simply being your daughter? I really can't believe anybody is saying that you could possibly be the asshole in this situation. Everybody's making assumptions that she hasn't been checking in with her to see if she's depressed or helping her in any other way. People are assuming that the mom doesn't spend any time with her daughter. Where are you getting this information from? Her daughter wants people to celebrate her, but isn't doing anything in life to celebrate. That's what's wrong with people these days. Everybody wants to be celebrated for literally doing nothing. And when you end up hiring this girl in the future and she puts no effort into her job, but is upset that she doesn't get raises or people telling her what a wonderful job she's doing. Then what? Mom, you are not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not renting an apartment to my sister disabled friend? Am I the asshole for not renting an apartment to my sister disabled friend? English is not my first language. I, 32F, own a small building I bought very cheap and fixed myself. I am not a shitty landlord, my price is fair and I keep the building in good shape, and fix any problems that appear. It's relevant that I don't accept animals in the building. I had an empty apartment, so I put an online ad and got a few candidates. I was talking to my sister, 40F, and commented that was searching for a new tenant. I did my usual, showed the apartment, asked the candidates to fill a form. One of the candidates that came was blind, and he came with a friend. During the visit he commented that he have a service dog. I did commented that as per the ad, I don't accept animals. He informed that since he is a service dog it legally doesn't apply his dog. I said okay, moved the visitation for its end. For me he automatically went to last in the list. Besides not accepting any dogs, I know I have at least 3 tenants who are allergic to dogs, and I won't inconvenience my already existing tenants. I made my choice, and called the candidates to inform them of my choice. Later in the day my sister called me very upset. Turns out the blind guy is my sister's friend. She told me that her friend called. I said he wasn't chosen and was pissed. In turn she was mad at me, that he is great, the perfect tenant, and went on and on. I told her I just took a decision based on my impression and background check. and had a candidate I liked more. She told me she promised the apartment to her friend and I told her it's not her property for make promises or decisions and to call her friend and apologize. I am not changing my choice. This happened 3 weeks ago and she wouldn't respond to my texts or calls. And this weekend we had a family party and she gave me the cold shoulder all the time. Not the asshole. Just as you said, it is not her property to make that kind of a promise. Even if you allowed animals, it would still not be her promise to make. She is upset you made her look bad to a friend. I would wonder how much she really appreciates you as a person and a sister, because what she did was quite disrespectful and entitled, and she continues to act like that. Please educate yourself on the legal aspects of being a landlord. I rejected him because my crazy sister made promises to him. I have no idea what she told him or why she thinks she can decide who I rent to, is better than anyone with dogs goes to the end of the list if anyone asks you. Not the asshole because it's a weird situation and you found a perfect tenant. I dragged this out in front of the whole family if sister wants to keep being a jerk. She had no right and knows it. Not the asshole. You have the right to choose the tenant that best fits your building's needs. Service dogs are an exception to pet policies, but your concern for existing tenants' allergies is valid. Your sister shouldn't have promised the apartment without your approval. She promised him the apartment? She didn't even ask until after you'd told someone else they'd get the apartment. Let her run it off. This was her mistake, not yours. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, with a leaning towards everyone sucks here, except the prospective tenant. Your sister shouldn't have promised her friend that he would get the property, it's not hers to rent. I don't know the laws around service dogs where you live, but denying him the rental specifically because of his service dog, which is a medical aid, could be illegal on the grounds of discrimination. So you may be the asshole here and he could have grounds to pursue legal action. It's tricky though, as you also have a responsibility to your other existing tenants who have allergies to dogs. You might want to get some legal advice on this matter in case it comes up again.